as requested by individuals and organizations.
Hearing to consider resolution number 18-063, amending the Uniform Comprehensive Schedule of Fees. Madam City Clerk, would you please provide a report in terms of the public hearing compliance requirements?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Notice of public hearing has been given pursuant to applicable law, including but not limited to the timely publications and such copies of proof received by the city clerk, postings as required by law, and other mailings as requested by individuals and organizations. The affidavits attesting to mailing such notice is on file in the city clerk's office, and no written communications were received.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Mr. City Manager, we have a staff report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Tonight we have really some we don't have a lot of fees we're proposing. The majority of the fees will basically just stay the same. The total revenue increase is estimated about $175,000, so you can see it's not a large part of our budget. But again, there are some fees in here that we wanted to review with you and then get feedback from the City Council on whether these fees are acceptable. So I'll go ahead and ask Kat to cover briefly the fees that we're proposing. There are, again, some new fees and some increases that we'll be looking at.
Thank you. The largest fee increase that we're looking at was already actually reported out to the City Council on March 3rd. This was the City Clerk's proposal for the new fees related to passport services, generating estimated annual revenue of about $150,000. So that's the lion's share of the change right there. We're also including a new candidate filing fee, and then of course the pass-through of the NAYS fee. But I've already heard from council discussion that they you may not want to go with that one. And then the fee for mobile home park applications to just simply increase the rent by CPI. It's a lesser fee than the full rental review, if you will. And then we just have a couple housekeeping updates, just adding some existing false alarm fees that were adopted in previous resolutions to the Uniform Comprehensive Schedule, clarifying bus fees for the ages of ridership, and then removing the employee rate from the sports complex fees public fee schedule, because it is an employee rate. It is part of the bargaining group MOUs, and so it's not really appropriate to be on the uniform public fee schedule. And then increasing the refundable deposit amounts for community services rentals. So again, several housekeeping items, just a couple of new fees. If the City Council were to approve this proposal, the fee updates would go into effect August 18th. If the City Council doesn't agree with some of the proposals that we have here, I think depending on what it is, it might be very easy to just read it into the record and adopt the resolution as amended on the floor. But I will leave that up to the City Council, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. I know Mayor Pro Tem wanted to suggest something, and then I know Councilmember Hicks also. So, oh yes, thank you, Madam City Clerk. Is there any member of the audience who wishes to provide testimony during this public hearing on this item? Yes, come on up.
Good evening, all. Well, I think it's, they have to really prove to the public for those increased uniforms, because the people live on a budget, and we have to consider that. It's not a way to get some money. Maybe use the community center for renting or make dances or something to raise money, and still to raise money for the children. We should help those children for the uniform. instead to increase to the parents for money for the uniforms. We have to consider that. And there's some other ways to make money, and not for the parents. That's my opinion. So think about it and increasing fees.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. Ramona Pimentel, 822 East Realty, Carson. I have to agree, too, with the fees. When my grandson was playing ball, you know, he had to pay to play, and then he had to pay for his uniform. So it came almost like $80 as I paid for it. You know, so I think we either have to get together. I know when I helped run a park in Wilmington, it was the uniforms were rented to the kids, and then they brought them back at the end, and they just had to buy their pants and their socks and their hat. But the jerseys, and some of the parents, when they got their jerseys, since they had to buy the uniform themselves, then some of the kids had their name on the back. Some of the parents couldn't afford that. So I think we should really, if it's just one fee, you know, hopefully a low fee, and they get their uniform, their jersey with it, and then be responsible. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we're going to close the public testimony portion of this hearing and move on to council deliberations. Is there anyone who wishes to make any comments? As I said earlier, I know Mayor Pro Tem had a suggestion, and Councilmember Hicks.
I want to keep the first and the second child the same, but I want to lower the fee to $25. I think having to buy kids cleats and all of those things, and we got to factor that in. And I guess we're on the movement to fill our parks back up. I think you know, if these kids would like to go play in the park and instead of breaking someone's house, it would be great. So that's my motion for that particular item in that area.
And I'm sorry, which sports would that be? Flag football and soccer, or baseball, softball, and basketball, or all?
All.
Okay,
all.
and that would be
Anything-
$25 for both residents and
No.
No, just residents.
residents. $25, but first, second, and third child, all 25.
Yes.
Okay.
And Kat, can you just do off the top of your head a calculation of how much revenue are we talking about here in total? I know earlier I thought I heard you say the number 200,000. Is that what we're?
Yeah, 200,000 is the total revenue. If you decrease the fee, then you would be decreasing that 200,000.
Okay.
At first, when there was discussion earlier, and I heard not doing the NAYS $3 pass through, I estimated that would probably be less than $20,000. And then when I also heard the discussion to decrease the first child from 44 to 36 for baseball, softball, and basketball, I estimated that would probably be about a couple $1,000 impact. But we have a new motion that would be 25 for all youth sports for first, second, and third child. And that would be a little bit more of a significant impact. Just by looking at it, I'm guessing off the top of my head, that would probably, I'm sorry, Community Services Director, do you have a basic idea of the ratio of resident versus non-resident participation? Because that would help me do a calculation on the fly.
I'm sorry, I don't have that information exactly.
Yeah,
But
don't
I
have
know
it
that
exactly
that our residents are the predominant users of our services.
Yeah, that might be an impact of maybe somewhere around $40,000 or $50,000 if you took all of them to 25 for first, second, and third child. That maybe
25.
Yeah, maybe about somewhere around $40,000.
In total.
Just winging it off the
Okay.
top of my head.
I'll second that motion, Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any additional discussion? And I do want to thank Councilmember Hicks for kicking off the discussion and conversation and highlighting this.
So how much?
I guess the motion is to do it at 25,000.
No,
$25, yeah. $25 for first, second, and third child,
30.
for residents only,
Right, and for all sports.
and for all sports, yes.
Okay, 25, okay.
And only for youth, not adults.
Correct. And I'm sorry, does the motion also include not doing the NAYS pass-through fee?
Well, you usually would take it out of $25 again,
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to be clear.
if you have to have it.
If there's no further discussion or conversation there's been a motion to approve staff's recommendation with the amendments as discussed, and it's clear to staff what the amendment is.
Yes.
If there's no further discussion, please register your vote electronically.
Mr. Mayor, I have one question.
Yes.
On the cost breakdown for the, in the report for, this is for the city clerk, it's $87.75 for materials. Could that not be refunded if they brought the book back? It's refundable? The $87.75?
So it would be based on how much of the services was provided at the time. Say, for example, if a candidate come in, get the orientation, receive the documents, and the printed paperwork, that staff cost has already been expended. But if they withdraw their documents, they will receive a refund at a prorated fee.
Of the prorated fee of the $275.38?
No, are you referring to the filing fee, correct? The candidate filing fee?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Per candidate is $275 on page 3 of 6.
Oh no, the recommendation is $175.
Yeah, it's calculated at $275 cost, but the recommendation is to establish a $175 fee that would be less than the city's cost.
Oh, I see.
Is it 275?
So what are they gonna get back?
So I would have to work that out. I haven't worked that final detail out with Kat. I was actually going to talk to her about that after you approve the filing fee, depending on when, because the administrative fee will be paid upon pulling your papers, and then the filing fee will be paid when you file your documents.
So what's my total cost to file?
$200.
$200. Okay, so this, I'm looking at the $87.75 for materials. Is that the book that you give us?
Yes, and the printed paperwork, because the book itself is just a copy of what you need to bring back, and then you'll also have, or the candidates will receive printed documents that they need to complete and bring back to the clerk's office.
And the recommended fee of $175 already does not include those materials, because the $275 includes the materials. The $175 recommended fee does not include the materials. The $175 is just based on the staff time.
Okay, so I'm getting the materials free. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, another question.
There's one thing that I do want to mention about the filing fee, just in case there is a concern. There is a provision in the law with the filing fee that states that if you are indigent, which means if you can prove that you are below the income level, you can get the filing fees waived. Now that is election law requirement that we cannot get around as an agency, but you would a candidate would have to prove that they're indigent.
Madam City Clerk, I had a question. So if I understand this correctly, the cost is $275.32. So why not have that be the fee? the total filing fee. Can we do that?
That we did identify that is the actual cost. However, I think we were of the notion that a more favorable filing fee, given our neighbors what they charge for a filing fee, we didn't really want to go over and beyond that.
Well, I mean, our costs are what our costs are, so I think that the cost should be fully reflected in the filing fee, is my suggestion. So,
So let's be clear about the filing fee is a $25 fee that's set by the state.
I mean the cost.
The
cost
administrative
is,
fee.
yes, that the total be the $275.32, which is the administrative fee, plus the $25 filing fee, which, as you said, is by the state. So I guess that would make it a total of $300.32, right? Or is it, can we do that? Or are you saying that the maximum we could do is $275.32? In other words, I want to make sure that the full cost, to the extent that it can be recouped from the candidate, should be recouped.
Right, so we can't go over and beyond what we have identified as our cost to be. And in the staff report, we have identified our cost to be a total of $275. $25 of that can be absorbed in the filing fee, and the other $250.38 can be the administrative fee.
Okay.
If and I'm looking at our director just to make sure that that is a safe approach.
Yeah, I would just round down to the $250 at versus adding the 32 cents. But we'd also need direction from the city council just to be very clear of that $250 administrative fee that we would collect if that is what the city council approves. Are you making $87 or $88 of it refundable if the candidate returns those materials? So we would need that clear direction from the city council.
That's what I was trying to clarify, because we're required to turn them back, and if you don't turn them back, you don't get the $87.
Well, once you purchase the book, it's yours whether you want to give it back to the city or not.
Well, I want to
you're
turn
not
mine
required.
back in because I don't need it.
But if you turn it, it's not usable for another election. All the material's dated in it, and so why are we even offering the return? It shouldn't be returnable.
I've been turning mine back in.
What's that?
I've been turning mine back in. I thought that was required.
The
It's
but
not?
but all the
An
material.
informational guide that was given as a courtesy to the candidates in the past.
So do I have the option to not take it?
No.
Oh.
It's more of a check-off list. And
Yes,
whether you
so
have
it is.
completed
It will be used as a guide to help you through the process as far as which documents are required to come back, which documents are optional. Also gives you a lot of information pertaining to campaign finance.
Okay.
So my motion would be that we set the total fee at $275. Kat's recommendation was that we just do $275.
No change.
$25 of it be the candidate filing fee, and that the materials not be returnable because they become moot.
Okay.
Right,
I think
is
I
that
have
clear?
clear direction, if that's
Is
the
there a
motion.
second, please? Second. Yeah. It's been moved and seconded.
Did somebody pay my fee?
So let's add that to the previous motion of reducing the athletic fees for resident youth to $25 across the board. So there's a Councilwoman, I see you queued up. Is that okay?
Mr. Mayor, I had a question
Yes.
regarding, is this only for the Veteran Sports Complex that you're actually asking for an additional for deposits from, is it from $25 deposit to $100 deposit? Is that what's being requested? On page 26?
No, that's just for line 13 is related to Veteran Sports Complex. Then there's also line 17 that would be amended in the uniform schedule, and that's for other parks and recreation facilities.
So if I rent a room, a community room at $30 an hour, and I'm spending $150, I got to give you $250, and $100 I get back.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so if there's no further discussion, it's been moved and seconded. So I move that we waive further reading, adopt resolution number 18-063, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Carson, California, establishing, as amended, new fees and charges for goods and services provided by the City of Carson, and amending the uniform comprehensive schedule of fees as discussed and adopted by resolution number 17-169. There's no further discussion. Oh, is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, sir.
Quick question. This becomes effective when?
That would be August 18th.
August the 18th?
August 18th.
For flag football?
Oh. Can we make the, actually, yeah, because it starts earlier. Okay,
Well, that will be addressed in the calling for the election. It's also on the resolution.
no,
Item 37.
no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about for the youth
Oh,
sports
I'm
fees.
sorry.
Can we make that effective beginning of the,
Madam City Attorney, can I ask you a question? So our fee resolution, the standard procedure on it is that once the City Council adopts it, it goes into effect 60 days later. So for us, that would be August 18th, if it's adopted tonight. The mayor's asking the question, is there any way that we can make
it's Councilmember Hicks' suggestion, not mine.
effective earlier,
When it starts?
quicker than
Yes.
August 18th?
I'm suggesting that we do it at least at the beginning of the fiscal year, July 1st, so we catch as many.
So I think those are requirements, the 60-day. I'm not quite positive if it was your municipal code or if it's state law that requires it, but that 60-day needs to pass before it becomes effective.
How about, can you look into it and to see if there's something
Sure,
we
if
could
there,
do?
if, exactly, if there's
Into-
any way of doing it, I'll talk to Ms.
Okay.
Downs and we'll bring
Fair
it
enough.
back.
The reason why I even asked, I guess through staff, the next season, I'm trying to remember, we're ending our baseball season now. So the next season is flag football and soccer. They're taking sign-ups now, so some people are already paid possibly at this point.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Actually, I believe that the council can direct me to collect less than what's on our uniform fee schedule.
Oh, see, Sonny? We shall direct you.
Well, Ms.
Well, I didn't know that the question was whether you want it to go into effect because you want to be able to collect less.
Less.
Less, not more, yes, less.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the city council can direct me to do so. So if you'd like to decide on that, then
Yes.
I can take that direction.
I would ask that we so direct you, if that's the council's direction, and to the extent anyone has paid the higher fees already, which probably may not have happened, but to the extent anyone had, let's make sure we refund them their money.
Okay, so
The difference.
I have that clear direction to go ahead and charge less than what is on our uniform fee schedule in time for the season. And so I just want to make clear that that means that there is no need to bring back further information about whether or not that resolution can become effective earlier. We'll just go ahead and
Correct.
allow the resolution to become effective August 18th?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Yes. So it's been moved and seconded, and as amended, or as I read, and I don't want to further complicate it, but if there's no further discussion, let's register our votes electronically, please.
Is she okay with that?
Motion approved unanimously.